something that was interesting, and I want to very strategical, and I would like to show you what I thought and why things didn't work. So this was my game from today. I've played this line many times. It looks like a very humble line, but it has some poison in it. And my opponent was playing pretty fast, so queen d2. I've played like this against Grishuk already one time. And here my opponent went knight f6, b3, castle, bishop b2, and e6. Because I had very little time to prepare for the game, I didn't really remember what I was planning to do against it. So this is a very interesting position, very strategical. Black is trying to play d5 and just develop through b6. So I had this interesting option to take on c6 and play f4, but then I didn't like e5, because now if I take, he goes knight g4. And because of bishop h6 threat, it's not sure if I'll be able to develop my king. So maybe I have to play knight e4, but it looked extremely risky. Because, for example, takes, just the lines are getting open and my king is not safe. Not really the recipe when you're playing a team tournament and your team is a stronger team. You don't want to take big risks with white, generally. So, and here, if I go knight f3, I wasn't really sure what's happening here, because black has some weaknesses, but then his dc threat is unpleasant, and then my f4 pawn is hanging at moments. Queen can come to d6. I wasn't sure this is type of risk that I want to take today. So other option I had, which was something that I liked more, was h4. I was very tempted to play it, d5, h5. So now black cannot really play d4 because of knight a4, and then once I capture on c6, since the lines are closed, the c5 pawn is a liability. Taking on h5 is also not an option, because once I recapture, the line is open, there are too many threats. So I thought he's going to play something like b6. And now I was thinking takes. I wasn't sure, I couldn't calculate till the end what happens here. Queen h6, king f6. And now it seems that there has to be a move that achieves something. Unfortunately, I cannot take on d5 and f8 because h5 is hanging. But I couldn't really find it. I burned time on it, but yeah, I think it will require some analysis to understand how white should proceed, or if this is possible at all. And if I don't do this, yeah, so if I don't do this after b6, then I was afraid that he will play knight d7 or bishop b7, and then it will be difficult for me to compensate the lack of development. So I was thinking maybe I should do something like this, takes, and move like king f1. But once again, this is it's type of chess that I play when I want to take risks. But today I think it's not necessary. We'll play something like this tomorrow, where the stakes will be much higher, where we'll face equal opponent. So that's why I settled for e3, d5, knight e2. I thought this can be slightly pleasant, because if now black plays b6, I can take, knight f4 here, and castle. And after bishop b7, I have d4. And there is a tactical nuance that allows me to do this, because I can take on g7, knight takes e4. Now black cannot play f6 because of knight e6 check, so king has to go here, and this looks like white is dominating, because the king is too weak, too many threats, too many mating threats, and once he plays g5, then I'm sure there are, knight g4 mate. So once he does something and then plays g5, it's just too slow. So I thought this is interesting. But I think he reacted in a good way. Yeah, he took d takes c. Now bishop c6 is not so good because of c take d, and black is safe. So I have to take like this. And if I take dc, he takes and gives a check. It's not clear where to bring my king. So I have to take like this and queen d7. So he could also play bishop d7, but this is a more precise option to develop through b6. And here, I thought that his play is very easy. b6, bishop g7. I wasn't sure what to do, so I was trying to prepare d4, but he rightfully ignored it with b6. Otherwise, if he tried to prevent it, there I go queen c1, b6, and maybe with queen a1, I have some interesting ideas like knight e4, and there is some pressure over the g7 bishop. So he went b6, d4, bishop b7. I thought it was very clever, because I thought that what he plans to do is to, after dc, to play knight d4, which was a very interesting and tactical option. And now I can't really achieve advantage with queen d4 because bishop g2. Now if I go rook g1, he moves his queen to b7, so the light squares are weakened. And I was thinking, and if I take and rook g1, just bishop c6, and the knight e5 can be very unpleasant. So kind of strange idea, but of course it's not necessary for black to do that, because he can simply take knight a5, and the position will get neutralized, because in a very typical Grunfeld way, the extra pawn is going to fall because black is ahead in development. So, and yeah, I think he played well at that moment, and I regret that I haven't had the time to check before the game this e6 idea.